The Finnstown Castle Gaswise.ie Formula Boss Ireland Series travelled to Bishopscourt for its third and fourth rounds in 2022, part of the BARC Race Meeting on this first-class county down track. Jonathan Files made a great start from the second row of the grid to launch himself into the lead of the race at the first corner. It was a disastrous start for Aaron Gaughran, who stalled on the front row and dropped right behind the field, which unfortunately didn't include Donal Griffin, Eamon Matheson or Michael Connolly. Michael Roach had qualified first on the grid and was doing well in second place, holding off Tony Greenan. At the end of the first lap, we see that Roach in the F3 Dallara is just holding on to the Lola before it puts down its power on the straight. As they cross the line, we see that Noel Robinson is contesting Barry Rabbit's fourth place. At turn 2, we see Roach is closed in on the Lola under braking. Robinson can see fourth place on the inside of Rabbit there. Johnny Keating, in his first ever boss race in the Jedi, leads Shane Rabbit over the line, followed by Daniel Farty, John Stewart in the sports car, Joe Christian, also new to boss racing, and that's Aaron Gaughran with a long way to go. He sets up to go up the inside of Joe Christian there, turn 1, and oh look, we see that Joe has actually spun out. That's a dangerous position, so it may lead to this race being flagged. Jonathan Files leads them through the chicane. Tony Greenan will be delighted to be in third place, so close to home. Johnny Keating doing very well in sixth place with the motorcycle engine Jedi. Barry Rabbit leads Daniel Faherty, and we see that Aaron Gaughran has now moved ahead of John Stewart's sports car. A little twitch out of the Lola reminds us what a handful Jonathan Files has there. Michael Roach will see everything. He opens his rear wing for the straight. A real assistance in keeping with the powerful Lola. He's closer through turn 2 this time. That's a nice inside line. In fact, he's really hounding Files through this section. On the straight, Aaron Gaughran moves up to 8th, passing Daniel Faherty. But the cars have now slowed. The red flags are out. Rescue crew arrive for Joe Christian. And Tom Gaughran gets going in the Dallara World Series, which was pushed to the side of the grid before the race start. The Formula Renault is towed to safety. Tom Gaughran will sit out the restart. That car must still be suffering from its gear selection issues. And Jonathan Files comes up to start again. But it's a disaster for him this time, stalling on the front of the grid. Aaron Gaughran gets away. He had to start at the back, but he begins a much quicker progression through the field. Michael Roach got a dose of wheel spin that time. Tony Greenan in a dream position out in front. Barry Rabbit in third place, but Noel Robinson has gone up the inside of him. But Aaron Gaughran got both of them and has moved straight into third position behind Michael Roach. Barry Rabbit is 4th, Noel Robinson is 5th, and Jonathan Files making his way past Daniel Faherty into 6th. Keating also challenging Faherty. Barry Rabbit in 9th, and John Stewart, who's also taking part in the striker and road sport races, 10th. Tony Greenan leads. Aaron Gaughran very close to Michael Roach. But Michael has a great turn of speed on the straight, and he goes straight past Tony Greenan into the lead. At turn 2, Aaron Gaughran is really swarming around the back of Greenan. Noel Robinson carrying out similar manoeuvres behind Barry Rabbit. Whoa, Daniel Faherty going very deep there. Shane must be putting him under a bit of pressure. Coming back into the chicane, Michael Roach looks to be securing that lead, and second place is definitely under threat. There's dust in the air as Aaron Gaughran challenges. Aaron looks like he's setting up a manoeuvre there. Michael Roach's wing open again. He streaks down the straight. Encouragement from the pit wall for Aaron Gaughran as he goes past Tony Greenan into second place. He throws himself into turn 2. It looks like he has a lot of grip. Oh, and we've lost Barry Rabbit from 4th place. Jonathan Files in 4th, but he's got a strong challenge from Noel Robinson there. The Lola looks a bit unsteady. Daniel Faherty up to 6th now, with Shane Rabbit closing in behind. Johnny Keating in 8th. Shane tries to slingshot around the outside of Daniel Faherty from turn 2 into turn 3. Doesn't come off this time. John Stewart in the Radical is now 9th. Little twitch from the rear of Michael Roach there. Is that an opportunity for Aaron Gaughran? He has a little look. but Roach has the pace on the straight. Files appears to have broken free of Robinson and is going after Greenan now himself. Well, Robinson is still there in 5th. Daniel Faherty's 7th place is still under threat from Shane Rabbit. Johnny Keating is ready to capitalise if either of them makes a mistake. Aaron keeping the pressure on Roach through the chicane. Greenan has a bit of ground from Files. It looks like Aaron Cochran has a bit of a line here. He's on the inside of Michael Roach as they come onto the straight. But Roach has the speed to outrun him. But while we watch the leaders tussle, Jonathan Files has blasted past into 3rd place. The pressure's back on Roach. And Files has a bit of ground going into the corners. Is Shane Rabbit going to have a go? Yes, he is. He looks well up the inside of Daniel Faherty, but Faherty holds it as they go into turn 1. They're nose to tail. Daniel's gone a bit wide, and Shane Rabbit cleanly goes up the inside into 6th place with the Formula Renault. It's a shame Michael Connolly didn't make the start. It would have been nice to see another sports car in the race to match John Stewart's Radical. At the end of the lap, Michael Roach has got back into the lead ahead of Aaron Cochran. Looks like Files is making a bit of ground on the leaders. But at turn 2, it's Aaron Cochran who emerges first. Michael Roach hasn't made it to our camera position. Files is 2nd, Greenan 3rd. No, Robinson 4th. From a start at the back of the grid, Aaron Cochran is now way out in front. And Jonathan Files, who stalled on the line, is now up to 2nd. In the foreground, Daniel Faherty hasn't let Shane Rabbit go yet. The Formula Renault looks like it's at the edge of its grip levels. And that's Michael Roach rejoining from the grass. He's in 7th place now. Aaron Cochran with a solid lead. Jonathan Files is giving chase. Aaron is coming up to lap John Stewart's Radical. The Lola looks a bit slower than normal there. Tony Greenan looks nicely planted on the road. No, Robinson looks like he's pushing hard. Daniel Faherty hasn't given up on his battle with Shane Rabbit for 5th place, but he's out to the grass a bit there. That earned Rabbit a bit of ground. Michael Roach still has a bit of distance to make on them if he wants their positions back. Aaron Cochran is making it look like it was easy, but remember, he came through the whole pack. He's past John Stewart now. What's this? Jonathan Files has dropped back. Tony Greenan is up to 2nd. Files is losing ground. No, Robinson is catching him on the straight. The Lola is visibly slowing. Oh, after a stall on the grid and then battling his way all the way up to 2nd, he's pulling in with some sort of mechanical issue. Aaron's 1st place looks a certainty now. And this has been a strong local showing with Tony Greenan now in 2nd, coming up to pass John Stewart there, and Noel Robinson 3rd. Rabbit continues to hold off Faherty. Roach has caught them a little bit. Johnny Keating will be the next to be lapped. Considering his inexperience at boss racing, he showed good awareness there of Aaron coming up behind him. Tony Greenan, 2nd place. Noel Robinson looks a little interested. Shane Rabbit looks like he's pushing to make a bit of a margin. Oh, but he's gone onto the grass and he's spun! Oh, it's a full pirouette and he's hit the tyres. Doesn't look like too severe an impact. He should be okay. Daniel Farty has slowed right up to see is he alright. He's expecting the flags to come out. Meanwhile, Michael Roach flew past them and moved up to 4th. Shane climbs from the cockpit as Aaron Gochran goes past. He laps Faherty, who seems to have backed off completely. Tony Greenan in 2nd place in this late stage in the race. And 3rd place, Noel Robinson. The yellows are being waved now as Michael Roach passes the stricken Shane Rabbit. And we see that the checkered flag is being prepared. So Aaron Gochran takes his first win in Formula Boss Ireland. And what a race it was too. Tony Greenan was 2nd. And Noel Robinson pushed to the end to take 3rd. Michael Roach recovered to take 4th. Johnny Keating, an excellent improvement on his qualifying position to take 5th. John Stewart, 6th. And Daniel Farty, who perhaps anticipated the flags a little too soon, dropped to 7th. Back in the paddock, Aaron Gochran told us about how his well-deserved first win started from the back of the grid.
I made a mistake on the first start and stalled it on the line. To be fair, I sat there and just thought, oh, hopefully nobody collects me, which to be fair, I was delighted nobody did. Got it restarted and went at it, but on the restart I was told to go up to P2 and take the position, and when I got up there I was told no, go back to the back, so pushed back to the back, and that lit a fire in my belly. So once the flag went down we were on a mission really. But no, happy out, it's a great race, to be fair, I loved it. For our first time here, like it's just a laugh, that track, it's an absolute laugh. But no, to be fair, everybody drove real well, fair play to the boys. Stone, everyone in Stone has worked so hard to get the car prepped and running the way it is, like hats off to them, that's all I can say. So it was great to get the first win, that's my first ever win, so I was delighted, absolutely delighted.
2nd place Tony Greenan had done better than he'd expected.
2nd place, I would probably have took 3rd or 4th going by today's grid sort of.
And were you happy with the qualifying session yesterday?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I'd qualified in 4th on the grid. Mick and Aaron Gochran were a good bit quicker than me, so yeah, I'll take that there anyway, so surely.
Do you enjoy the speed on this track?
Yeah, brilliant track. Haven't raced this track in, I think it's 22 years now. Used to do a bit of racing here with the BF Super Sunday series. Billy Finnegan used to run that there, it was great. But as I say, 22 years from we've been on this track, so it's probably just like a new track all over again.
He'd mentioned in Mondello the last time that he was still running a restrictor on his car.
I have got the restrictor took out of it now, but it's still not as quick as most of them. Like,
yeah.
But it's a great improvement to what it was. Yeah.
Noel Robinson was happy to claim a podium.
Yes, after qualifying yesterday I was a bit disappointed, to be honest, but we don't have new rubber or anything this weekend, so it's really just to get a finish and get points in the table. So yesterday I had a bit in your arm off for a 3rd place finish.
So I bet you want more now.
It'll be nice, but I think it'll be difficult. Obviously the cars in front a lot more speed, a lot more aero than us, but that's the way it goes, that's the class, that's great. So yeah, 3rd place again, I'll be happy.
Michael Roach had done everything he could in qualifying to put himself in pole position, lost out a little bit on the initial drag race from the grid, but fought back to take the lead for a number of laps.
Happy enough there in the lead there and paced myself. I thought I had the legs on Aaron on the straights, but then I hit someone's grass or gravel there on the real quick bit. I was lucky to get away with it and do any damage, so I got going again there.
You gathered it back up and you still got a solid enough result.
It took me probably a minute to get it restarted and then get back to first gear as well.
It was kind of chaotic out there for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah. I know it's grand. Look, I'm happy to get it. I didn't break up the car, so we'll have another cut in the afternoon there. Let's see.
And where are you lining up for the afternoon?
I think I'm second on the grid for the afternoon and Aaron is on pole.
It's a long straight.
Yeah, we'll have another go ahead. We'll see. We keep them honest.
Johnny Keating had a great result from his first boss race. John Keating, you had a great race. You qualified 10th and you moved right up to 5th.
Yeah, not too bad. Good few fellas went off alright, so hoped away anyway. Small problem, I don't know what it is really, but it's what it is.
A great experience on a track with a race like this.
Oh yeah, it's grand, yeah. It was first time driving single seater, so it's grand to keep it going, see how we go on, sure.
You travelled a long way for your debut.
I know, and we went to Finnstown on Friday to go for a spin, and it rained all day. We left it on the trailer, so that was that. We come on here then and see, that was it.
These are good conditions for getting experience anyway.
Oh, just the weather couldn't be better. It's grand track and all that. Couldn't be better.
And have you fresh tyres for?
Oh, I have fresh tyres. They're as good as they're going to get now for today.
They're well scrubbed in then,
They're well scrubbed in, yeah. Small issue, I think it's a fuel issue now. We thought it was temperature related yesterday, but we sorted the temperature out, temperature's grand, and now it's a fuel issue now, I think it is, but we'll have to just be on for the next race to see how we go.
Now Stuart has made a remarkable recovery back to racing, competing in 2 classes at Bishopscourt. John Stewart, we haven't seen you for a while. It's great to see you back in action.
Yeah, I had a stroke, so I didn't know if I'd get a license again, and my left arm didn't work very well. So I've had a pretty speedy recovery, and I raced yachts last year, and as usual, and then applied for my license, which I didn't have any trouble with. I had tested the Formula Renault in August, but I decided to sell it and get something that was kind of Kirkuson based, just to be not lose so many brownie points with 3 days in Nice, you know. So I got this little radical just in February, so I haven't been in it much, but I've been in it the last 3 weekends. We had a race at Kirkuson, then a hill climb at Craighandlet, and then out here today. And of course, to get a bit more practice, I've entered 2 races, so I've had 4 outings yesterday and hopefully 4 today.
So you're making the most out of that license.
Making the most out of it, yeah.
Daniel Fardy had an exciting weekend so far.
Yeah, it was a great race. Yesterday we went out for a shakedown and we had a bit of bad luck, but we got the car back together and we got out on the track, and we had a great race there today with Shane. And unfortunately Shane was looking for more road and lost a bit of it, but went off, so I braked initially so we can collect them, and thought the race would be red flagged. Was in 4th position and ended up letting the boys go by me, so I finished 7th, but 4th was good for me anyway, and unfortunately Shane went off, you know, but it was a great battle up to that.
Shane Rabbitt's never afraid of a bit of grass tracking, but there's a bit of a drop off the edge of the tarmac here. Shane Rabbit, it looks like you might have a story to tell.
Yeah, we had a little bit of an off there towards, I think it was the last lap or the second last lap of the race. I was having a great dice with Daniel Fardy throughout the whole race. We swapped paces the whole time, and the car on the last corner, there's 2 or 3 bumps and it gets massively unsettled, and that's the one place Daniel was quicker, so I'd be quite slow out of the corner, so Daniel was catching me. So around the last corner I was like, I need to keep on the throttle here even after a big slide. Ran a bit wide onto the grass, kept the shoe in, around it went and into the tyre barrier. So that was the end of race 1 for us.
Yeah, I've seen you catch it on the grass before, but
yeah, I didn't catch it that time though. No, I had a couple of moments like that and I got away with it, which probably filled me with confidence that I could gather that one up. But here's the man himself there now. So yeah, the couple of moments I had before when I caught it probably led to this, because I got a bit brave, I suppose, and yeah, it's all part of it.
You're always giving it 100%.
You got to give it 100%. Yeah, go out there and as quick as I can for as long as I can, and try not let that happen to it. But so his first crash I've really had in ever, to be honest. I've never had an actual crash, so now it happens at some stage.
Will it take much to fix it?
It's not as bad as it looks. It needs a bottom wishbone, push rod, track rod, front wing, possibly a hub. But we'll get it back to the garage, pull it apart and see what it actually needs, and hopefully have it ready for the next round.
Barry Rabbit made a great start after being on paternity leave from Boss Racing.
Barry Rabbit, I believe, congratulations for life outside of motorsport order.
Thank you very much. Yeah, newborn at home, Brooke, so bye to her and Drea and Kyle as well. Yeah, got away for a weekend. Thank you.
You've had your hands full, but you're back competing again.
Yeah, I haven't been out really. I did a test session really once last year, and I haven't been out since 2020. So yeah, it's been put in the back burner a little bit, but Bishopscourt's been, best track in the country, so we decided to put the effort in to get up here for it. It's just a fantastic track to drive, especially in these cars. It's phenomenal, so put the effort in to get up here for this one.
Fair play. It's a shame it's such a rare pleasure, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a pity. It'd be nice to get up here at least once more a year. Maybe it's something we could look at in the future, but yeah, it's great. These cars are Mondello's fab and all, but these single seaters are built for high speed stuff, and it's a real pleasure to drive them. Like the first corner here is flat in 7th, and that it's like 100 heading on 150 mile an hour full chat through it, like, which gets your attention.
Yeah, you were unlucky in the race.
Yeah, I was there. I don't know. I think I was Dyson Tony for, I think it might have been 3rd at that time, I'm not sure, and there was just a lot of muck down in the first chicane on the back section, and Tony kicked a bit more of it up, and then I was committed, so I was on that muck that was on the track, and I just ran a bit wide, and as I came back onto the track from the apron there's a bad curb, and the car hit it and took a very severe impact, launched it in the air, and when it landed then it just lost all drive, so we pulled it in and we got it back to pits. It's just a fuel line. The impact had actually opened the dry brake fuel line, so basically had disconnected the fuel from the engine, so quick fix and we're back ready for race 2 now.
Jonathan Files had an interesting souvenir from the morning.
Bob didn't tighten it. The lever. No, it was
distance from the fulcrum, was it?
Yeah. No, we've had this before. Because the cars are so old and they've been in different countries and everything, bits get moved around on the car, so you've got you have a left-hand thread on one side and a right-hand thread on the other, and the idea is that the wheel nuts will tighten themselves. Now, we've never had an issue with it before, but today anyway the wheel came loose, but I thought I had a slow puncher because it was getting harder and harder to turn left, but it actually split the rim in two where it was rubbing through the brake caliper.
He gave us a bit of insight into pushing one of these older cars to its limits.
I had too much mechanical sympathy. I was trying not to hurt the clutch at the start, and ended up anyway stalling, and lucky the car restarted. But
that's kind of one of the challenges, isn't it? I mean, you're so involved in the prep and build of this car, that's all in your mind as well. You're not just getting on and being a racing driver.
I actually said it to Bob, the fella who left the wheel. There's
not to name names or
no, Bob Coburn from the Shotgun. Air code, yeah. No, I was actually saying to him, like, if I didn't know anything about the clutch or anything that's in it, like, I probably wouldn't have stalled it. It's just, you know too much about the car, and then all of a sudden you think, that rose joint's got to the end of its life now, or the clutch plates are hurt. We put the money into making sure that the mechanics of the car are right, and then we sacrificed tyres for this season to make sure everything else was right. What people don't realise when they're watching, every lap you do in these, it's wearing something. Like on a lot of other race cars, when they're not so stressed, you're not doing as much harm. But with these, one lap is the diff starting to wear, or the gearbox starting to wear, and all this sort of thing. Like the engines, you have a certain amount of mileage before they need a rebuild, and that's why I don't test that much, plus the fact I'm never ready for testing, but still.
Jonathan was on the second row of the grid for race 2. I have a feeling the clutch isn't going to get too much sympathy this time. Michael Connolly, Donald Griffin and Barry Rabbit wouldn't be taking their positions on this grid, and the race would be shortened to 10 minutes due to time restraints at this very busy race meeting. The 5-second board is withdrawn. Through the heat haze we watch the white Lola of Files move around behind Aaron Cochran towards the pit wall. On the right, Michael Roach is making a good start ahead of Tony Greenan. From the side we see that the Lola has the legs of all the Delaras and Files is out in front on the racing line. Michael Roach second. Aaron Cochran's in third and he puts a nose ahead of Michael's rear wheels. Noel Robinson ready to capitalise as Aaron backs off for a moment and has another look at Michael Roach. Greenan has a look around Robinson and Tom Cochran's getting the World Series Delara into the action. They file down into the chicane. It's very dusty down there. Oh, and the World Series has come unstuck. Oh, that was short-lived for Tom. Very frustrating. Barry Rabbit benefits most from that. But Tom's not going to sit around making daisy chains. He rejoins the track just beside John Stewart. That's a good recovery, not getting bogged down in the long grass. Jonathan Files leads onto the main straight. He makes some big moves across the track. He'd be well aware of Roach's pace down the main straight. Aaron Cochran third, Noel Robinson fourth, Tony Green in fifth, Barry Rabbit sixth, and that's great to see Eamon Matheson seventh, John Keating in eighth, Daniel Fardy ninth, Joe Christian is in 10th, and that's Tom Cochran moving up to 11th past John Stewart. Close up you can really see how treacherous it is off the racing line going through that chicane. Noel Robinson is really close to Tony Greenan at the moment. And Barry Rabbit is keeping a close eye on them. John Keating's Jedi is swarming around the back of Eamon Matheson, and Daniel Fardy is observing them. In the foreground, Tom Cochran has passed to Joel Christian, and John Stewart is just behind them. Files building a bit of a lead. Michael Roach with a bit of space from Aaron Cochran. Greenan has earned ground from Robinson, who now has his mirrors full of Formula Renault. In the far distance behind Eamon Matheson, Daniel Fardy looks like he's going past John Keating's Jedi. Yes, he's made it and he has the line. Cochran starting to challenge Michael Roach now for second place. Tom Cochran using the Force to chase down the Jedi. And John Stewart is putting Joe Christian under a bit of pressure. And talk about pressure, Aaron is really turning it on now. As is Barry Rabbit. He makes a move up the inside of Robinson, and Aaron has done likewise to move up to second from Michael Roach. But can he hold it down the straight? Michael moves out. But Aaron has a good track position to hold it, as does Barry Rabbit from Noel Robinson behind Tony Greenan. This is a good section of track for Aaron Cochran. Jonathan Files enters the chicane. Aaron Cochran already in hot pursuit. Matheson's new car finally doing some race distance. And Tom Cochran still has the Jedi in his sights. Barry Rabbit 5th, Noel Robinson 6th. Files leading and they all seem to be maintaining the positions at the moment. But could Cochran mount an attack and go for his second win of the day? Jonathan's got to keep it tidy, because that's all the gap there is. The Black World Series is menacing as it lurks around the back end of the track. John Stewart has passed Joe Christian. Our leaders are going to catch them soon. Almost by the chicane. Tom Cochran has found his prey and overtakes John Keating's Jedi. The top two have safely passed the two back markers, and Roach and Greenan come up to do so. Cochran and Files now on the same shot around the back end of the track. Coming onto the main straight, Tom Cochran has Daniel Faherty in his sights. He makes his move to the left and passes cleanly. Matheson, his sports car sparring partner from the past, now locked and loaded. He spots an inside line, but not so easy. These two aren't used to dicing with open wheels, but they're judging it perfectly. On the straight now, and Jonathan Files has to begin defending. In the distance we see that Roach and Greenan have passed the back markers, while the battle for the lead intensifies. The Dallara really seems to have the advantage here. But the Lola is able to stretch its legs on this long section down towards the final corner. Tony Greenan doesn't quite seem able to get close enough to Michael Roach to bother him. John Keating is holding off Daniel Faherty as the leaders come onto the straight. Aaron has a little bit of a look, just in case Files loses a bit of momentum. The leader holds his own through here. But just watch the way that Aaron can close on this long right-hander. Time is running out for Aaron to make his move. Roach looking a little bit ragged there. In the background, the leaders come onto the straight. In the foreground, Daniel Faherty makes his move on John Keating, up to 7th. The Lola does its party trick. Tony Greenan is having a little bit of a look around Michael Roach. Michael's wing doesn't seem to be opening at the moment. Barry Rabbit is solidly maintaining 5th. Around the back section of the track again. This time, Aaron Cochran doesn't seem to close on Jonathan Files the way he has on other laps. Now they're coming up on some more traffic. Could that be a complication? They both passed John Keating without hindrance. Files makes swift work of Faherty. Aaron has a go at the outside line as they come round the final corner of the race, but he has to tuck in behind Jonathan Files, who takes the win. What a turnaround in fortunes in just one day. Second makes it 2 great results for Aaron Cochran as well. Eamon Matheson has finally had a good race in his new car, 7th. Johnny Keating just pipped Daniel Faherty to the line, 8th. Michael Roach held on to that 3rd place from Tony Greenan, 4th. 5th place is a good return to racing for Barry Rabbit. Jonathan Files punches the air in celebration. Noel Robinson is 6th. And the victory lap continues. John Stewart comes in ahead of Joe Christian to make it a top 10 finish. Unfortunately, Tom Cochran didn't make it all the way to the end, but they've definitely made progress with that car. After the race, we find Jonathan Files in a slightly more positive mood after beating the rate of attrition.
We made a few adjustments since the first race to try and get more traction. It definitely made a difference, but Aaron Cochran was miles quicker than me. I only had the straight line speed. A couple of times I even tried to hold him up where I knew he was really fast, and he just eats me on the brakes. I need to grow a bigger set of balls or do a bit more work on the brakes, one or the other.
Well, I think stick to the mechanical modifications.
The car's mega, but it's not. I would have preferred to have won knowing that I was quickest. Just Aaron was so much quicker than me in the where it counted.
You can see it out the back there, he could make up a lot of ground.
Yeah, it was the first and the corner down the very end there. He was just so quick in there. And second gear was too low for me, third was too high. But down the last corner, he'd come from 50 yards back, 100 yards back, and still he up beside me like.
Yeah, it was a serious challenge.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But at least the wheel stayed on this time.
Tom Cochran and Eamon Matheson are also going through the pain of development at the moment. Tom updated us on his progress, and we'll give him the last word.
I can't moan. We've had electrical issues, so to get it that it was upshifting and downshifting okay, was great. It looks like a fuel pump fuse has popped, and thought it had run out of fuel, but no, I'm happy. It was on the pace. In fairness, I was having a good little battle with Eamon there, and just waiting for the next corner to give him something. And look, it's a great day, good day, great track, and really good. Can't wait to come again.